On the morning of March 12, 2023, a grandmother's desperate call to the Vancouver, Washington Police Department set off a chilling chain of events. Her daughter, 27-year-old Meshay Melendez, and her 6-year-old granddaughter, Layla Stewart, had vanished without a trace. Meshay, a fiercely independent single mother, was inseparable from her daughter Layla, whom she called the center of her universe. The idea that they would disappear without informing their tight-knit family was unthinkable. As the hours ticked by with no word, fear gripped their loved ones, pointing to something far darker at play. It's been since last Sunday, March 5th, that anyone has seen, heard from, or spoken to my daughter and granddaughter, Meshay's mother said, her voice breaking with anguish. They're a part of my soul, my sister, my niece. We're lost, not knowing where they are or if they're safe. One of the last people to see Meshay and Layla was Kirkland Warren, Meshay's ex-boyfriend, a man with whom she shared a volatile and troubled history. Kirkland claimed they were working to mend their relationship, but the circumstances of their disappearance raised red flags. A young mother and her vulnerable child were missing, and the clock was ticking. The Vancouver Police Department launched an urgent investigation, but what they uncovered would reveal a web of violence, deception, and a crime that would leave the community scarred for generations. Welcome to the Crime Decoder, where we'll dive deep into investigative details to unravel the heartbreaking story of what happened to Meshay Melendez and her daughter Layla Stewart. Vancouver, Washington, a bustling city just across the Columbia River from Portland, Oregon, is one of the state's most populous communities. With a violent crime rate of 6.32 per 1,000 residents, higher than Washington's state average, the disappearance of Meshay and Layla in March 2023 sent shockwaves through the city. Meshay, a 27-year-old known for her resilience and devotion to her daughter, was last seen with Layla on the morning of March 12th, riding in a burgundy Dodge Charger driven by Kirkland Warren. Investigators quickly identified him as a key figure, likely the last person to see them alive. Meshay was an active presence on social media, often sharing joyful TikTok videos of her and Layla dancing together, their bond evident in every frame. "I don't know how I got so blessed with such an incredible daughter," Meshay once posted, her pride in Layla shining through. Layla, only 6, was a bright and promising first grader, excelling in school and adored by her family, especially her grandmother. Their sudden absence was out of character. Meshay was not the type to vanish without a word, especially with her young daughter in tow. On March 22, 2023, a seasoned detective sat at a chess table in a Vancouver jail, preparing for a critical interview with Kirkland Warren. Tasked with finding Meshay and Layla, he knew this conversation could be the key to cracking the case. The detective, a missing persons specialist with expertise in digital forensics, opened with a disarming question. "How you holding up?" he asked, studying Kirkland's demeanor. "As good as I can," Kirkland replied, his voice measured despite being detained in the Clark County Regional Jail. The detective explained his role. "I'm a bit of a geek, work with cell phones, computers, that sort of thing. But I also handle missing persons cases. A witness, Joanne, said she saw you with Meshay and Layla on the night of March 11th into March 12th. Can you walk me through that?" Kirkland recounted that he, Meshay, and Layla had spent the night at a mutual friend's apartment, a woman named Jo, to work on their fractured relationship. "We went to Jo's because she's a friend we both know," he said. "We were there to talk, maybe reconcile after some drama. We slept there that night, and everything seemed fine." He claimed they left Jo's apartment in the morning as planned. Kirkland drove a Dodge Charger, and he said Meshay's car was parked a few blocks away. "I drove them to her car, dropped them off, and that was it," he told the detective. According to him, that was the last time he saw Meshay and Layla alive. The detective pressed for details. "Joanne said you and Meshay left the apartment at some point that night. Came back, and then you left again with Meshay and Layla in your car. Where did you go after that?" "It wasn't nighttime, it was morning," Kirkland corrected, his tone defensive. "We didn't go anywhere. I just took them to Meshay's car down the street, and they drove off." His story seemed rehearsed, but inconsistencies were already emerging. Meshay and Layla were officially reported missing on March 18th, 6 days after their last sighting. When Meshay's mother hadn't heard from them for a week, she contacted the police. A welfare check on Meshay's apartment revealed no signs of them, no clothes packed, no indication they'd planned to leave. Next day, Meshay's mother made a grim discovery. Meshay's car, abandoned in the Van Mall neighborhood, the same area where Meshay and Layla had stayed with Kirkland on March 11th. The car's presence in that specific location raised suspicions, as it tied directly to Kirkland's account of dropping them off. Kirkland claimed he tried to contact Meshay later that day. "She left her purse in my car," he said. "I called her on Google Duo, but she didn't answer. At first I thought she was just ignoring me, maybe upset." He described a mundane day after dropping them off, stopping at a bagel shop for breakfast and visiting another friend, Nettie. He insisted he wasn't concerned until the missing persons report surfaced nearly a week later. "Do you know where they might be?" the detective asked. "I don't know," Kirkland said, shaking his head. "They've never run off before, not that I know of. Maybe check with her ex-husband. He took Layla for a couple of days last year, caused some issues." The detective noted this, but later confirmed Meshay's ex-husband had no recent contact with them and no restraining orders against him. It's unlike Kirkland. Kirkland's relationship with Meshay was far from stable, was marked by violence and a domestic violence no-contact order. In December 2022, Meshay called 911, reporting that Kirkland had assaulted her and fired shots at her balcony window as she peered outside. A friend present during the incident corroborated her story, providing details of Kirkland's aggression. But on February 17, 2023, Meshay recanted her accusations, claiming she and her friends struggled with mental health and substance abuse issues. She begged police not to arrest Kirkland, insisting she'd fabricated the story to protect him. Investigators found her sudden reversal suspicious, suspecting coercion or fear. On March 2, 2023, Kirkland was arrested on charges of second-degree domestic violence assault, drive-by shooting, harassment, making a false statement, and possession of a stolen firearm. Prosecutors deemed him an extreme risk to Meshay's safety, assigning him a score of 31 on a 1-to-18 danger scale. A judge set bail at $100,000 and issued a no-contact order, prohibiting communication with Meshay. Within hours, Kirkland violated the order, calling Meshay from Clark County Jail. "You're the reason I'm here," he told her, pressuring her to drop the charges. "I'm trying my best," Meshay replied, her voice strained. Kirkland was released on bail later that day, but was cited for violating the no-contact order. On March 6th, a judge ordered higher bail and GPS monitoring, but the next day, the case was inexplicably dismissed, and Kirkland was never fitted with a GPS monitor. "Domestic violence is rarely taken seriously enough," Meshay's family later said. "Restraining orders are just pieces of paper, false security blankets that don't protect victims." With Kirkland free and unmonitored, the police zeroed in on him as the prime suspect in Meshay and Layla's disappearance. On March 19th, they served a search warrant on his home and Dodge Charger and arrested him for violating the no-contact order. Body cam footage captured the moment. "Show me your hands," an officer commanded. "You're under arrest for a violation. If you don't obey, force may be used. Do you understand?" Kirkland's past revealed a deeper pattern of criminal behavior. Born in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, he was the son of a municipal judge who resigned in 2009 amid allegations of second-degree forgery, abuse of office, and attempted theft. Kirkland had moved to Vancouver, where he married Monet Tyler Warren, with whom he had 2 daughters. Monet, 26, worked at a Portland bank, but faced accusations of stealing nearly $25,000 from customer accounts. On November 21, 2022, her credentials were used to transfer $20,000 into an account under Meshay's name. Surveillance footage showed Meshay opening an account at the credit union that month and exiting Monet's car. The 2 women were connected through Kirkland, and Monet claimed he coerced her into the theft scheme, saying she altered accounts at his request to funnel money to him. Meshay's social media activity provided further clues. An avid TikTok user, she posted regularly, often featuring Layla in playful dance videos. Her last post, on December 20th, 2022, sided with the credit union thefts and featured Kirkland. After that, she went dark online, possibly to avoid scrutiny as the theft investigation loomed. The connection between Meshay, Monet, and Kirkland suggested a complex criminal scheme, with Kirkland as the common thread. Monet told police she acted under his influence, but the extent of Meshay's involvement remained unclear. On the morning of March 22, 2023, a chilling call came into the Clark County Sheriff's Office. A passerby walking along a rural road in Woogle reported what they thought were 2 life-sized mannequins in a ditch near a creek. Deputies arrived, and made a heart-wrenching discovery: the bodies of Meshay Melendez and Layla Stewart. Meshay had been shot once in the head, Layla twice, and Layla had also been assaulted, adding a horrific layer to the crime. Vancouver police confirmed their identities, delivering a crushing blow to their family and community. The detective confronted Kirkland with the grim news during their interview. "I'm here to find them," he said, his tone steady but intense. "Do you think I found them?" "I hope not," Kirkland replied, his voice faltering, eyes darting. "Not in the way you're about to say." "I was at the scene," the detective said, leaning in. "I know the road you were on. I know why there's mud on your car, why there are tire tracks where you turned around and drove back. I know all that stuff." "I didn't do anything," Kirkland insisted, his composure cracking. The evidence, however, was overwhelming. On March 13th and 15th, he texted a friend asking about secluded local areas like woods where he could bury a gun. On March 15th, he transferred $4,200 from Meshay's bank account to his own using her phone. On March 18th, he texted another friend about needing to get rid of this stool, slang for a stolen car, likely referring to the Dodge Charger. Search of the car revealed damning evidence: shell casings, a large blue tarp, and blood from both Meshay and Layla. The police spoke to Jo, the friend who hosted Meshay and Kirkland, on March 11th. She said they left her apartment at 5 a.m. on March 12th, claiming they were going to make some money. Kirkland returned at 8 a.m., blasting loud music, with Meshay in the passenger seat. Naked from the waist down and unresponsive, Jo reached into the car to lower the music, and Kirkland snapped, "Close the door." Unaware of the horror unfolding, Jo handed Layla and her beloved kitten, Rocky, to Kirkland. Layla, who trusted Kirkland as a father figure and often rode with him to school, climbed into the car, clutching Rocky. She had no idea her mother was likely already dead. Layla adored cats, a family member later said, their voice heavy with grief. She had a kitten on her shirt that night. "We hope Rocky was the last thing she saw before she left this world." The image of Layla, a vibrant 6-year-old with her whole life ahead, holding her kitten in her final moments, was almost too much to bear. Kirkland's past revealed a chilling pattern. In November 2017, in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, 57-year-old Curtis Urquhart went missing. His body was found on December 11th in a ditch, shot in the head and mutilated by wildlife. Kirkland admitted to killing him, claiming Curtis demanded money and he acted in fear for his life. His Google search history from that time included queries like how to get blood out of a car seat, how to beat murder, killing the only witness, and other ways to evade justice. Charged with first-degree murder and abuse of a corpse, he was released on $250,000 bond. Between 2018 and 2020, he fled to Washington, where he continued his criminal behavior. In 2020, Vancouver police investigated Kirkland for possessing a stolen semi-automatic handgun, which he surrendered. In March 2021, he lied on an application to purchase another semi-automatic handgun, falsely claiming he wasn't under felony indictment. Though the application was denied, he acquired a gun and used it to shoot at Meshay's balcony in December 2022. On March 17, 2023, an Arkansas judge revoked his bail for the Curtis murder. During a March 22 court appearance, Kirkland admitted he was wanted in Arkansas, but refused extradition. With the discovery of Meshay and Layla's bodies, the case against Kirkland intensified. The detective pressed him. "You're a man who made a mistake, not a monster.
How?
Tell me what happened to that little girl." "I don't know," Kirkland repeated, avoiding eye contact. He tried to steer the conversation to his Arkansas case, but the detective stayed focused. "I'm not here about Arkansas. Tell me about Layla." "I don't know," Kirkland insisted, finally requesting an attorney. But the evidence was undeniable. The shell casings, blood, and tarp in his car, combined with his suspicious texts and financial transactions, painted a damning picture. Facing overwhelming evidence, Kirkland changed his story. He claimed Meshay had a pistol for protection in her unspecified line of work. He said they argued in the car on March 12th about his second phone, and Meshay fumbled the gun, accidentally shooting Layla twice and then herself. The police dismissed this as implausible, noting the striking similarities to Curtis Urquhart's murder, both victims shot in the head and left in a ditch. Kirkland had no choice but to plead guilty. He admitted to the murders of Meshay and Layla and entered an Alford plea for assaulting Layla, allowing him to maintain his innocence While accepting the sentence, he was sentenced to life in prison without parole. He also pleaded guilty to Curtis's murder, with the sentences running concurrently. Washington's abolition of the death penalty in 2023 spared him that punishment. Monet pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree theft and 2 counts of attempted identity theft, receiving 2 years probation for her role in the credit union scheme. The motive for the murders remains unclear, though financial gain is suspected due to Kirkland's transfer of $4,200 from Meshay's account and his involvement in the theft scheme with Monet. Meshay's family was left shattered. "The loss of Layla has torn a hole in my heart that will never heal," her grandmother said. "She'll never grow up, never graduate, never have a family of her own." Why was someone with his history allowed out on bail? They criticized a legal system that failed to protect Meshay and Layla, pointing to inadequate training on domestic violence among judges and prosecutors. They know the law, but they don't understand perpetrators or the terror they inflict on victims, a family member said. Kirkland should never have been free. The tragedy reverberated through Vancouver. At a vigil in Esther Short Park, the weekend after Meshay and Layla's bodies were found, hundreds gathered to honor their memory. Layla's classmates, teachers, and friends joined Meshay's family, lighting candles and sharing stories. "We want to support their family," one classmate's parent said. "Layla was like my niece, full of life, always smiling. This is heartbreaking. We hope police take victims' fears more seriously in the future." The community demanded reform, questioning how Kirkland, with a pending murder charge and a history of violence, was allowed to roam free. The loss of Layla, a vibrant 6-year-old who loved cats and dancing with her mom, left an indelible void. "Layla had so much promise," a family friend said. "She was taken too soon. And for what? We may never know why." The image of Layla clutching her kitten, Rocky, in her final moments haunted those who loved her. Meshay's family vowed to keep her memory alive, but the pain of their loss was compounded by the systemic failures that allowed Kirkland to remain a threat. What do you think about this devastating case? Could Meshay and Layla's deaths have been prevented with stricter bail conditions or better handling of domestic violence cases? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay safe, subscribe to the Crime Decoder, and join us next time as we uncover more stories that demand answers and justice.